What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Malcolm Miller. And look, check this out. So I was watching the Everyday Struggle podcast. That's the podcast with DJ Academics, Nadeska, and Joe Budden. And they were talking about should Chief Keef get more credit than what he's given for his inspiration on the younger musical artists, specifically in the hip-hop genre. Like, he's influenced a lot of these young rappers like Playboy Cardi and all these other young guys that's coming out right now. He's influenced them majorly. And I'm going to say, yes, he does deserve way more credit than he's given. For one, Keef at the age of 15 jumped into the musical scene with a cadence, a flow, ad-libs, and an aura that made people stop and listen to what he had to say. You had to just stop and listen to what Keef was doing, pay attention to that man, and you gravitated to it. A lot of people gravitated to his aura that he had around him. The rawness, the authenticity that was surrounding him, and the way he was telling his stories about growing up on the south side of Chicago, in Inglewood neighborhood, and his community. People wanted to listen, and it put a magnifying glass on not only himself and his friends, but the Chicago music scene as a whole in general. If it wasn't for Keef, I'm going to say it right now, a lot of artists wouldn't have blown up as quickly as they did, or as strongly as they did, because he put a magnifying glass, a microscope on the city, and he opened the floodgates for every artist to get their own and go out here and get it. Like, I think the attention the attention that was paid to Keef got artists like Lil Durk, Lil Reese, Chance the Rapper, Spenzo, Vic Mensa, King Louis. He got them looks. Like, you might not like Keef, you might not like his content, you might not like his music that he makes, or the mumble style that he's incorporated recently, but you have to give it to the kid. The kid was exceptional. He had a game plan. Him and Young Chop, shout out to Chop too. Chop is a big reason why the Chicago drill scene exploded the way it did over his production. Him and DJ Ken as well. Shout out to DJ Ken. He don't get enough recognition either, but Keef over them Young Chop and DJ Ken productions was something special. Like, even that first album, Finally Rich, was a classic. He had tracks all over that thing, and he influenced a lot of people. A lot of people got the ad-libs from him. They got the way that he rapped. Like, that at 15 years old, doing the stuff that he was doing, like, it was mind-blowing to me. And a lot of people was trying to figure out what's going on in Chicago, because Chicago didn't have major artists on the scene that was representing the streets like that. You had a lot of socially conscious rappers out there that was representing Chicago, like Common. Ye at the time was definitely doing so. Lupe Fiasco, guys of that nature. So we didn't have a street artist to really tell about what was going on in the streets of Chicago and really give that inside look. Keef was making videos, homemade videos in his grandma's crib, in an alley by his house. Like, I mean, just everywhere. He was just making videos in his room, and really changed the game. A lot of rappers saw that formula and was like, okay, cool, I can make a video. I don't need a high budget video. Just find me a videographer, and somebody can just shoot me in my crib or in my homie crib or whatever. And Keef definitely laid the blueprint out for that. Now, everybody wasn't successful, because the first person is always the person that gets the credit and gets the most recognition, but it gave a lot of people, young guys in the city, hope, and provided them with more job opportunities than the mayor, Rahm Emanuel. So, hey, I mean, he provided a platform for a lot of guys to follow. And I got to commend Keef, because, I mean, he got out the hood, he put his friends on, his family on, and he lives in Beverly Hills, somewhere out in L.A. now, and he living good. And he made a lane for himself. He's 22 years old now, and he made timeless classes that'll never be forgotten. Like, when I was at school, Keef provided the greatest soundtrack for my college experience. I was happy to have a Chicago artist blowing up and on the scene at the time when I was in school, because it made me like something to make me feel like I was at the crib, at home, listening to Keef. They playing Keef at the parties, like me and my homies. We in there getting loud. Shout out to Melvin. Like, we straight from the crib, South Side. So when we heard them at the parties, that made us even more amped up to have fun, a good time. So, and I think Keef definitely don't get the credit he deserves. Like, if you really do a biography or on that kid's life from 15 to 22 and see how drastically his life changed. Like, I remember watching Keef in Hollister shirts and what's some old Aeropostale shirts, and he was ashy and stuff, and he came up and he made a way. He changed. So shout out to Keef, man. Shout out.